Hi everyone, welcome back to The Support Bear, a podcast made to spread awareness about different mental health issues.
Today we are going to be having a discussion about loneliness. We're going to look into what it is, what causes it, and what you can actually do to solve it.
So, what exactly is loneliness? The Google definition for it is a state of mind linked to wanting human contact but feeling alone. People can be alone but still not feel lonely, but they can also have human contact but still have feelings of isolation. Other emotions, such as happy, sad, or mad, last for a shorter period of time, but loneliness can be a state that is ongoing for a longer period of time. There isn't a fixed time or when it can happen. It can happen anytime and last as long as it likes.
Loneliness can differ from person to person. Personally, I think loneliness is a type of sadness or similar to it. It's like a heavy aching feeling that is lingering around you, but yours might be different, and it's fine.
So, what causes loneliness? We might think it is caused by not having enough friends, a significant other, or the right kind of people surrounding you, but it's much more than that. It's about the thoughts you might have.
The most common thought that creates loneliness is, I'm alone. But the most interesting thing about loneliness that we mentioned before is that people who are physically alone can feel loneliness, but so can people who are physically around other people. You might think loneliness has to do with the people around us, but no. Many of us has experienced loneliness while being with a crowd full of people, but still feel like we're alone in that situation. So you can be in a relationship, it can be romantic or a friendship, but your mind is still creating feelings of alienation with your own thoughts. You can even feel lonely with one of your closest people, even if you see them every day or even live with them.
Humans are known to love connections, so we don't feel lonely, and I think that's because we usually associate it with rejection. So oftentimes, our brain mixes up the feelings of loneliness and rejection. That's why we find it so painful at times when we are alone. And it's not only just rejection by a specific person, it's just a pool of rejection by the world around us. Our brain thinks we humans won't survive just by ourselves, and so this is the same way that our brain is susceptible to the rejection and to taking rejection very painfully. I think we have the same thing with loneliness.
We all misunderstand loneliness. Loneliness is not about not being able to be with other people. Loneliness is about not being able to be alone with yourself. The reason that we experience loneliness so intensely is that we believe we need other people to provide our feelings of connection, love, or belonging. And this is what feels so desperate to us, because most of us are not creating that connection and that sense of belonging within ourselves. It would be beneficial to us to think that less about why other people aren't connecting with us and think more about why we aren't connecting with ourselves.
When we are lonely and try to find the solution, we do it by engaging with other people. This may distract us from our lack of connection with ourselves, but as soon as we're alone again, we'll feel lonely again. And in some cases, we'll feel lonely even when we're with other people that we try to connect with. But because of the fact that we're relying on other people outside of ourselves to make us feel okay about ourselves, this doesn't last for long.
You might think that the simple solution is just to go around and create connections with other people. Call up a friend and meet up. But most people don't, because loneliness isn't just a simple problem created by the lack of social interactions. When we feel lonely, most of us just sit and stare into empty space.
We end up wandering in our thoughts about how we're alone again. So what's the point of reaching out to anyone? This is because the same thought process that gives rise to loneliness is also the thought process that prevents connection from other people, because it's the same thing.
You may feel the need to be with other people because you are feeling down when you're alone with your own thoughts, because your thoughts about yourself are becoming so negative. So obviously, if that's how you're thinking, being around other people would just be a temporary distraction. If you don't like yourself and you don't like your life, or you don't think that being with yourself is okay, then being with other people might feel better in the short run, but it's only going to be a temporary fix.
You make being alone itself mean something bad about you. You believe that your loneliness comes from the belief that other people don't like you or you aren't good enough. And that's the same problem in disguise. You assume that other people are rejecting you because you're rejecting yourself. You already don't think you're good enough and you project that onto other people.
If you are rejecting yourself, if you don't love yourself, if you aren't connecting to yourself, it doesn't matter how often you socialize or who's around you. You will feel lonely because it's all your own thoughts and in your brain.
And feeling lonely isn't a bad thing. It's just a feeling. It's not something we should be careful of or avoid. I am personally okay with feeling alone most of the time because I'm fine with just hanging out with myself. It's the same way I would like hanging out with a friend. Being alone just feels like hanging out with a friend.
You can be around lots of different people and feel lonely, or you can be around lots of people and feel really connected and energized. It just depends on what you're thinking. When you're hanging out with someone and you're feeling really connected to them, it's only caused by your own thoughts. It's not caused by them.
So at the end, it comes down to your thoughts. The thoughts that cause loneliness can actually make you less likely to go seek out human interaction because you've already decided for yourself that you're alone. So if you think you're alone, lonely, isolated, no one likes you, or no one wants to be around you, you'll just keep producing more of these thoughts and you won't like being around yourself.
So the next time you're feeling lonely, think about how you can enjoy your own company. Focus on your thoughts and you'll be surprised on how quickly loneliness can fade away. It has nothing to do with what's going on around you.
And that's it for today's episode. Thank you for listening. See you next time.